Hey there. You're watching the Jessa Channel on YouTube. I'm Jessa, and today I am here with a special surprise. This is an interview with the team of Contradiction Spot the Liar. Contradiction Spot the Liar is a full motion video murder mystery game that is currently available on Steam. We played the game here on the channel last year, and it was a great success. Through some shenanigans on Twitter, I was able to secure an interview with Tim Follin, the creator and director, and also the actors who play Ryan Rand, Emma Bowman, Simon Thompson, and this is super exciting. We also have Rupert Booth, who plays Detective Jinx. We sat down in Skype, in the world of Skype, last week, and I started off with asking Tim how Contradiction came about. Tim, why don't you start from the top and tell us how Contradiction came to be even? I mean, was it one of those things you were on the toilet, and you were on your iPhone
Yes.
like people are on the toilet, and then you just went,
where
oh
I
my
was.
God.
Yeah, I was sitting there. I was kind of under transition to the bath. No, I wasn't. I have no idea where I was actually. Because originally it goes as I had the original idea about 15 years ago with my brother actually to make an audio game at the time. Actually, I think we kind of had this vague idea of making something with video, but video wasn't really up to it at the time. And then I think we left it on a shelf for a while. Well, I did. My brother went into teaching, and that's what he does now. But I think about 4 years ago, 2012, is that 4 years ago? 2016, that's right, isn't it? Is that,
everyone just stays silent.
Yeah, everyone's trying to do the basic maths. Yeah. So it's about around then. I kind of thought, well, I'll have a bash at sort of writing that thing. And so I created what I thought was a demo at the time. So I wrote a script. I mean, it was really, I had this idea for the Contradiction, the kind of the thing where you pair two things together. And I kind of knew that would probably work as a concept to tie the whole thing up. And then I tried writing it and realized it was the hardest thing I'd ever written sort of thing in my life, because it's just really to try and come up with something that works and uses that mechanic and tells a story sort of thing. I tried quite a few times and kind of thought I can't really do this. It's, I gave up with it sort of thing. But I think just persisting with it over about 6 months, I kind of got to the point where I had a script that kind of worked, with huge holes in it plot-wise. But anyway, it kind of worked. And I then kind of thought, well, maybe I could do this. I knew I'd need some cash to film it because, it was going to take a bit of, effort and money and people to do it. So the first thing I did was contact John, because I didn't say this bit, didn't I? I've been out of the games industry. I used to work in the games industry writing music in the kind of, I was going to say 80s, let's say 90s, because that makes me feel just too old when I say 80s, but you know what I'm saying. Early 80s, 90s, I wrote music for video games for a long time, kind of semi got involved in designing some games, but not really. Then I kind of went into TV production, which was the other thing I kind of was really interested in doing, and I'd kind of burned out with writing for big corporate giants, writing music where they would say things like, yes, we like your music, can you make it more grand, or can you make this more epic, but have a touch of sorrow about it? And I'd say, oh, just no,
And you brought it to Kickstarter at some point.
Yeah, when I filmed this with John, I filmed a teaser with John, where John played a cult leader.
So, did you just go out to John's backyard with a camera?
Yeah.
Basically.
No, basically. I mean, I know this guy because of my TV background. I know a few people that work in TV, and I know a guy that had all his own kit, his own camera and everything. So I kind of brought him in and said, would you mind helping me, Ian Cash? And the three of us went to a church hall, didn't we, and filmed, and John pretended he was in front of an audience of devotees, and was quite an exceptional cult leader for the day.
Who knew?
I have to say, yeah. That character actually, I don't think you even had a name at the time. I think we only settled on Ryan Rand after that point, didn't we?
I think so, yeah.
Or maybe, I can't remember
I
actually.
can't
Maybe.
really remember. Have you seen this teaser, Jessa?
No, I have not. But
still
I'm hoping.
online.
Still online. We shall send it to you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, and I will add it in. I will put it in.
It's in the game, yeah.
Yeah.
It's in the game. You can watch
It is in the game. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Part of it we used as the. I don't even remember in the game. There's a bit where
yes,
you put
when
a
you
DVD
put
in the
the
machine.
XXX DVD
Yeah,
in, and he's standing there talking, looking so charismatic.
And fat, and also charismatic and fat, and also on the day I grade my hair for it as well. And it's basically I just put paint in it when I say I grade my hair because we couldn't afford a makeup lady, so I just dipped my head in some Dulux.
So that is how Contradiction came about.
Heading in paint. Yes.
Yeah.
So basically, I mean, we made the teaser, we got the campaign running, we then launched into shooting it, didn't we, John?
You're really well known, Tim, in the industry for being a music man, game industry music developer, creator.
Yeah.
And so did you do this all, in the game yourself? I mean, were you sitting basically in the room you're in now, sweating over a keyboard and coding?
Pretty
basically?
much. Yeah. I mean, it was. I mean, after we filmed it, we filmed a block. We should get on to talking about the filming, but we filmed a block in kind of about a week. Then we filmed other little bits, but the rest of the time, I mean, it took me about a year of pretty much constant work to try and get it coded because I didn't even know how to program when I started this thing. So I had to kind of teach myself to program in order to make it. And then obviously I had to shoot it and edit it and do the effects and do the music and the sound effects and the phone.
That's
everything. So
that's pretty okay, so I just want to go take a nap now because I'm tired just thinking about that. So
so do I.
Let's talk Contradictions too.
Yeah.
Tim.
Go on, Tim. Set the record straight.
Set the record straight.
Right. Well, I've always said I would like to make a Contradiction too. Right. That's. Ken, I've got quite a long document written already that's about Contradiction too. Right.
Don't get too excited yet.
But I'm not
excited.
Yeah. Okay. But I mean, the problem is the amount of work that is involved. It is kind of committing myself to another year of at least of work. That's the only thing, and I'm not entirely sure I've got the time these days, to be honest, to do it. But that's my fear. It really does hinge on being able to afford someone to kind of help with this time. I've got someone helping me now with an Xbox conversion, possibly of Contradiction 1.
Mm-hmm.
So, and he's very, he's a student, so he's cheap. No, but he's not. He's keen to do stuff, and I'll sort of twist his arm and buy him a lunch, and maybe we'll, I'll do whatever else he wants within reason, obviously. I'm married.
You sure?
But we'll see how it goes, basically. I mean, I'm not ruling it out. I never have ruled it out. It's just entirely to do with time and money. And there are a few.
Sounds like you need a publisher, is what it sounds like.
Oh, I could do with a publisher, yeah.
Hey,
We need Sony.
Come find us,
So
we're
we
big
need-
fans.
Yeah.
You hear that, Double Fine, Tim?
Tim,
Yeah.
come on, Tim Schafer, Tim Follin. It's a match made in heaven. I'm saying.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
there are avenues I'm exploring at the moment. Put it that way. So
okay. So, let's talk about how you brought in some of these amazing people to Contradiction 1. And also, a number one question we all want to know is, where was the village? How did you just walk up to the mayor and say, hey, let me film these empty streets?
The mayor?
No, I didn't.
What, Boris Johnson? now
Mayor of London.
Thank goodness.
He's not the mayor anymore.
Yeah, no, I've just
Sent a
now
wax
Sadiq Khan,
sealed
thank goodness.
envelope to the Queen and asked. No, we didn't. We all we did was
Give me your swans, Queen.
Yeah.
Ah.
We did send an envelope to a queen,
yes, we did. Yes,
but
yeah.
not the queen.
But he didn't reply.
Basically just walked into the village and said, we're taking over your village. That really is what happened.
Well,
Tim did.
It was pretty much, yeah. I mean, it's a village called Great Budworth, and the only reason I know about the village is because I used to know someone who lived near it. It's kind of about half an hour from my house, and I used to go drinking in the pub in the George and Dragon there, which is the George and Dragon. That's the name of the pub, and so I kind of knew it from then, and knew it was a very nice little village, and it would look great as a film location, you know, one day. And that day came up, whenever it was, a couple of years ago now. And yeah, I mean, I just literally went around knocking on doors and saying, "Can I film here, please?" And sometimes just knocking on doors and filming there, regardless of who answered, which we did once, I think.
Yeah.
Lisa's house. You know Lisa's house at the end of the road?
Yes.
That's actually now for sale. You can go and see it on Rightmove. It's for sale.
Oh, no. Has anything happened to him?
No, it's been refurbished, but it was in the process of being refurbished when we filmed it, but no one knew who was doing it.
Sorry, I got it confused with the farm. Sorry.
No, so we actually knocked on the door and there was no answer and there was no one living there. And we kind of thought, you know, we'll just film here. So we kind of walked up and Rupert knocked on the door and then we cut to inside my house. It's completely different house. So yeah,
movie magic.
People who want to set up a tour, the Contradiction Spot the Liar tour, you have it right there. You know where to start.
It's mostly in great. The only difference is the woods are somewhere completely different, and the manor house, the Atlas house, you know, is kind of down the road from my house here. It's kind of quite local to me, so. Those were the only two locations that weren't in Great Budworth. Apart from the interiors. Interiors were in different places, sort of thing. Interior of Paul's house is the house you can see in the street. That is that house. Okay. Yeah. The interior of the pub is the pub. Interior of it's I mean the character's name. That's Simon and Emma, isn't it? Simon and Emma. Is somewhere completely different. That was actually a completely different house, basically. Okay. I'm trying to think where else now. I think Lisa's little scene is in my house. Where else is there? What am I missing?
How about the mirror room? The mirror room, yeah.
The mirror room. I was going to say actually one of them is in my mum's house. Actually, I think
Melanie.
Melanie's in my.
So the flat upstairs in the pub is actually his mum's.
Oh, it is mom's house. Oh, cool.
Yeah. So there you go. The mirror room was I live in a town called St Helens, which is famous for its glass and rugby league.
Yes, double glazing.
Yeah, is that your contribution so far?
Yes, double glazing.
Anarosa pops up. Double glazing. All right, thanks, Anarosa.
Anytime. Don't shame.
She's such a trooper.
Yeah. So they have this glass museum, believe it or not, in St Helens, a museum of glass, and one of the little features in the museum is a little mirror maze. And I happen to know, it turned out that my mum knows the bloke that owns the museum, so she got me some permission to just go and film there on a Sunday morning. And how long did that scene take? It took about an hour to film, didn't it? Literally.
An hour or so, not long.
And I looked at lots of glass. I could see through everything.
Yeah, and we just sort of filmed lots of scenes of Rupert walking around, bumping into mirrors.
Looking bemused, yeah.
Bemused.
Which was my entire act throughout the whole thing, to be honest.
Yeah, that was all that was, really. The reason why you might notice it looks kind of a little bit like a children's maze, which is obviously exactly what it was. It was a kind of kids mirror maze thing, you know. At one point, we had to wait for this giant wizard puppet behind a glass screen that appeared every sort of 10 minutes, didn't it? Remember that? And it would appear and say, with the music, say, "Hello, I'm the wizard of the glass music." So we had to take that out, you know.
Yeah, you're the bloody nuisance of the glass. You are. Yeah.
Rupert, you played Detective Jinx, and and he's totally mad at me now. You played Detective Jinx, and you did a fantastic job. And one of the things that many reviews talked about was the malleability of your face, dear sir.
Yeah. Yes.
Expressiveness. Now, I also understand there's a rumor. Is it true that Detective Jinx, the hat, was all your doing? Did you just show up on the first day with that hat?
No. It wasn't. What happened is that what I was wearing was that sort of, a suit jacket and a white shirt and a nondescript pair of trousers. And then because I was going to the Northwest, I used to live in Manchester. I know it rains all the time. I thought, right, I'm taking my overcoat and a hat. I turn up wearing that, and Tim goes, "We'll have that. Keep that look." I was going to take all that stuff off, but absolutely the right call because it made Jinx stand out rather.
Yeah, the hat makes Jinx.
We did debate it, didn't we? I remember it was just John and you, and we kind of thought hat on or hat off, and we literally thought hat on, and went with it.
It was very laid back.
Yeah.
It was. I think we were driving back from when you picked me up. It was you, me, and John, and that's when we kind of worked out exactly what we were going to be doing and what it was going to look like and things like that. So it was quite sort of ad hoc in that way, which is fun.
It's one of those accidental things that suddenly just encapsulate the entire tone of the game. I think it just kind of it's ridiculous and great.
Yeah.
And
it is. Because Jinx, I mean, Jinx has to have the hat. It's just it's in the promo, it's everything. It's just great. Yeah.
I think there's something that happens like this, like Magnus was saying, these things that happen because you make a decision on the spur of the moment, and we did a lot of that because we had no time to plan anything. So
funnily enough, exactly what you say. They are all of the things that people pick up on and say, "Who thought that?" All of the accidents are the things that people pick up on as the iconography of it.
But you roll with it because we kind of knew generally what kind of thing we were kind of going for, didn't we? And so we kind of you make decisions on the fly.
Yeah. We wanted it, didn't we, to be removed from reality, which is something we all like being removed from reality.
One of the notes.
I do. Anyway.
Tim gave me early on.
So
one of the notes that Tim.
I'm sorry. What were you saying, Rupert?
Oh, fine. No, carry on.
I apologize, Rupert.
Go on, Rupert. You're going to say.
I've actually forgotten what it was now.
It was about the tone. One of the notes.
This is age.
Yes. One of the notes that, following on from John saying slightly removed from reality, Tim, one of the most useful things he said early on is that he wanted to get the feel of a Hammer film. And at that point I thought, right, okay, so it's that slightly arch, slightly overacted. I say slightly, then I did that. Sorry. That whole, and very British, that whole kind of little English, the Avengers, the series The Avengers, do you know that, Jessa, from the 60s?
Yes.
That sort of feel.
Yes.
That sort of feel. I thought, right, we're doing that. Great. Because I like that stuff.
I think the thing is, it's a difference, isn't it? A lot of reviews, I noticed that when we initially started getting reviews, a lot of people said, "Oh, it's great acting," and everyone was sort of complimentary, I think. And then Giant Bomb put out their series, which was quite popular. And ever since Giant Bomb, the acting now is hammy.
Yeah.
Right. I don't know if you've read this.
Oh,
it's total nonsense. So it's basically, I think, the sort of what we were going for was, over the top and dramatic and kind of effective. But what it wasn't was self-conscious. And I think, to me, self-consciousness is what means hammy to me. It's when people are kind of doing this very having
a nod and a wink and going, ha ha ha, aren't we funny?
Yeah, I certainly wanted to avoid self-consciousness and push it as far as we could without it being kind of winked to the camera. Sorry.
So let's talk about
Magnus froze. He was in the middle of saying something. Then, sorry.
I'm sorry, Magnus. Go ahead.
That's okay. I was just going to say that one thing that I certainly felt like when I came in there and when I was acting opposite Rupert, and obviously he was the only person I did get to act opposite, except for Anarosa for just a little bits where we were in the same room. But one thing that I found was that I loved just acting opposite Rupert because that's slightly over the topness is also honest all the time. It doesn't feel like it's coming from I need to put a face on now. It's animated, but it's honest, and that's what I found with all the other actors as well when I finally got to play the game on the iPad, which I just enjoyed the heck out of. Was just watching them and just watching Paul Darrow and Melanie Gray especially, those two just drew me in. And there's something slightly it's what do you call it, hyper real, so it's slightly above real.
But the thing is, I mean, like you say, Melanie in a way is very understated, isn't she? I mean, in the performance, but in context it kind of, it's probably you, Rupert, actually.
Melanie did a great job. She was awesome. She just sits in that chair, lifts an eyebrow, and you just want to start apologizing. I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry.
I know. Yeah, and we have to say we filmed her scenes pretty much as long as it took to video. You know, it was really quick.
It was in real time, wasn't it?
Yeah.
More or less.
More or less in real time.
More or less.
Yeah.
It was certainly one take for most.
Her and Stephen Mosley, who played James, we were talking about Hammer Horror. He's actually the reason he can't be here today is because he's working on a Hammer Horror book. He's been commissioned to write a book about Hammer Horror, funnily enough. And so that's what he's doing. Yeah. There is a link. There you go with Hammer Horror.
So let's also talk about some of the, John, I wanted to talk to you about
me.
About Ryan. Yes,
sure,
you.
Sure. Okay.
about Ryan. And first of all, let's just get the really important question out of the way. What were you drinking?
I was drinking apple juice. That's what I was drinking.
You had that glass glued to your hand. It was awesome.
I did.
And that was planned, wasn't it, John? You said, I'm going to have the glass all the way through. I'm just going to go just to...
Well, yeah. I also got to the point because that was a pretty tough day for me, and I'll get onto that in a minute. But I started getting a bit delirious about it all, and I thought the comedy would be good if I, between takes, filled it up a bit, and then the next take drank it. So you see, it goes up and down, and then somebody, of course, said, "Oh, we've noticed that the drink goes up." They thought it was a mistake, and it's like, no, it's just a joke.
Oh, do you know what, John? You've just touched on something there. There were a lot of things in this that were just jokes because we're just a bunch of idiots, basically.
That's it.
This is the fun. It's all comedy.
The game was. I mean, there were definitely places where I laughed out loud, and it was really, it was English to me. I mean, I'm the only American here, but. It was definitely what I would say English humor, sort of tongue-in-cheek, understated, but when you peel it apart, really, really, really silly.
Yeah. I think, personally speaking, I think I went too far with my performance, but that was because, as I said I would get onto this, that was because I didn't know it at the time, but dying. I actually had septicemia, blood poisoning, and I'd been very ill for a few days, and we all wondered what was going on, and I was extremely ill, in a lot of pain, absolute agony like I've never known before and since. And I collapsed, didn't I, 2 days after we filmed my scenes, and was taken to hospital and got to see a doctor who was very rude to me, who basically sent me immediately, just didn't want to deal with me at all and sent me home without doing a blood test. And then another 2 or 3 days later, I collapsed again on my birthday.
Oh my God.
And was taken into hospital and went into toxic shock and ended up being operated on my birthday. And when I woke up, I was told how lucky I was. So yeah, I nearly died during Contradiction. Isn't that exciting? And but if you look, you can see it in my eyes. You can see how stressed I am. If you look, occasionally my back will give in, and I'll sort of I nearly fell.
I'm going to play it again. Oh.
And also, you'll notice I start to get a little bit angry. Sometimes it is part of what I'm doing, but occasionally it isn't. It's me thinking I've forgotten my line, and I'll turn around and I'll smash the glass down on the mantelpiece, and I'm actually looking at my lines. Because
I did that a lot.
Yeah.
So
I've got every single line. I mean,
that's amazing, John. Dramatic. That you didn't know, and now, wow.
I knew I was very ill. We all knew I was very ill. I mean, there was one morning I woke up. I remember when I collapsed the first time. I remember crying and laughing at the same time. I don't know if Rupert remembers that.
Was that when we were outside the pub?
Yeah, when the ambulance came, I was crying and laughing simultaneously, which was the oddest.
So then we went to hospital.
And very loudly and deliriously going, "Don't get an ambulance! Don't get in that while you're lying on the floor dying. Don't get an ambulance." No, I think we'll phone the ambulance.
The reason I kept going is because I knew that if we didn't do it that week, it would never happen. So I thought, well, let's just keep going because it'll never happen. Because
I know, but we probably should have, gone to hospital instead, really.
Yeah.
He survived.
I mean,
I didn't even have any insurance.
That's what he was worried about.
Now we see.
But now, yes.
No.
I don't care too much about my well-being anyway, so I just carried on.
The actor, yeah. Okay, you guys heard it here first. Anyone who wants to hire John, he will come to work even if he's dying. So,
in fact, on the condition that...
only on the condition I die during this.
I wanted to get Kate Vine.
Mm-hmm.
The dead body. I mean, what a coup would that be?
She's dead.
She's dead.
How can you talk to Kate Vine? Did you watch it?
She's gone away.
So tell me, I mean, where did you find Kate? I mean, she has an iconic role in that game. Seriously. I mean, her picture's everywhere. She's a major part of it, and she is dead and never says a word, never did, who is she? Who's this woman?
My partner. She's my partner.
You mixed that then.
She's your missus?
Yeah.
Your girlfriend.
Not my missus. Not my missus. No, my girlfriend. Yeah.
Oh.
So, yeah. But
John's got a girlfriend.
Oh, get out of it. Go away.
I get up, I leave in the middle of the interview.
Actually, if you've seen the Two Doctors video that me and John made when we were faffing about during the shoot, where I do Matt Smith Doctor and he does Tom Baker, that was Kate Vine filming it. A dead woman filmed our video.
Well, it was really. So,
and it was actually John's idea, Can I just say it was John's idea? I had a random woman I picked off the internet.
Seriously?
Sorry. That was something else. For Kate Vine, I picked a random. Yeah, I made a license. Do you remember? I had this fake license.
Yeah.
You just picked random woman.
I just picked a random person off the internet. Yeah, and John said, "You can't just have a random person off the internet."
No, you can't.
You can't because random person will be playing the game and go,
"Yeah, that's me.
That's
I'm
me."
Not dead. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So he said, "Let me have the girlfriend
maybe
do
I
it."
The dead person. What did I say?
But
but she's not at home right now, John. So we can't get her on the webcam.
She has flu, and we don't live together. So.
Oh, okay. It's that kind of thing. Okay, I get it.
It's that kind of. It's complicated.
She used to call him on a cell phone.
Magnus, I have a question for you. Okay, so what we loved your performance. One of the things we loved about it was how towards the end when Jinx is really coming down on Simon and Simon's getting really nervous, he gets up and he leaves saying he's going to go get some, and he never comes back. He just leaves.
Yeah.
No, the Boots was closed. The pharmacy was closed next door, so I had to go all the way to the next village. And my bike.
Your bike,
it was it was just
because you
silly.
had a car.
It took me forever, and then I never ended up coming back. But I think Tim actually has something serious to say about that.
I'm sorry. This is another. You see, Magnus came over to film. Anarosa and Magnus came up because they had that little scene together, and so we filmed. Yeah. We filmed from you, Anarosa, didn't we, first?
Yeah, we did,
and, that took a lot longer than we planned. Yeah, that's right. And I think you were having fun that day, Magnus, with John, and while we were doing something serious.
While we were working.
Get away.
No, I know.
Just taking loads of pictures of everything that day.
Yeah.
Pictures of pictures at one stage. Just pictures.
Yeah.
We were acting. You were just playing.
But anyway.
What happened? I caught him and my girlfriend naked. No, I didn't know.
No, you didn't. We started Magnus' scenes at about 11 o'clock at night, did we? Something like that.
Midnight.
Midnight. It was midnight, wasn't it? Yeah.
It was actually midnight, right? Wow.
Yeah. So we actually wasted the entire day shooting Magnus. Oh God, I just spat the screen. Shooting.
Do you think you're hot?
Yeah.
Apparently, shooting me is a waste of time.
Yeah. No.
Thanks. Truth comes out.
I don't know why it's all day. I don't know what we were doing. We should have taken
I don't.
4 hours or something.
I know we were doing all the stuff outside as well and picking through stuff and nicking stuff, but that didn't take long.
I will tell you, actually, we were trying to arrange that stupid house, weren't we? Where
was Anna's? Yeah. So Anna's scenes and Simon's scenes, the kitchen and the living room where she was, they were different places or same place?
No, they were the same house. Not the same house. But basically what happened was that, we only started Magnus' scenes at midnight, and he very kindly stayed to shoot the entire scene, which I think we finished at what time in the morning? Did you say half? Or something? 2? Oh, was it?
We just rattled through it in 2 hours. It was
I think we got it through pretty quick, yeah.
And then Magnus had to drive from Liverpool to Scotland.
Yeah. Right back to Scotland at midnight, yeah.
And then Rupert had to shoot.
And then we did my cutaways, yeah. Then he turned around on me.
That's why we got back late. That was right.
By this point, I've got kind of like midnight stubble growing, and it's just going, wow.
So how? Dead. Yeah, I mean,
Wow.
fun,
So okay,
but
all of this going
how-
on.
Sorry, I just finished my why Magnus runs away in the
Yes.
story and never comes back. Basically, it's because there was meant to be a scene that we just didn't have time to film or any way of filming because Magnus had to get back, and it was going to be a fight between Ryan and Magnus. Ryan and Simon.
Snap!
So-
I would have loved to have seen that.
Yeah,
I would
it
have
was
loved
I
to
would
have
have
seen
loved to have done it.
I would as
Yeah,
well.
I know.
It'd have been
Back at
amazing.
the house. You
Yeah.
were meant to go back to the Atlas building. You find it empty, but you hear noises in the background. I think it's how it's scripted. And then you found Simon pinning Ryan to the floor with a table.
Get
and upturned-
away!
And it was going to be this huge fight, basically, that Jenks was going to witness, you know? And that would lead to the piece of information that I can't even remember what it is now. There's a piece of
Okay.
information you were meant to get from that.
I think
But that
Most
all-
important question
Yeah.
of the interview: who would have won, Simon
I
or
think
Ryan?
It's going to be a gentleman's kind of agreement at the end, you know, the kind of walk.
Okay.
I think Ryan, because
Yeah.
he would have done something. He wouldn't have played fair. He would have got Kyle to
Yeah.
stab Simon in the back, wouldn't he?
Oh, Kyle.
It would have.
Kyle, who wants to be Ryan. Kyle aspires to be
Yes,
Ryan.
yes.
Yeah.
That's the thing, though. You
Kyle
see,
was-
actually,
But Kyle's a pussy. Kyle can't even take a slap.
Oh,
What?
Kyle was evil.
He was.
you know, I didn't tell you what. You know what Kyle's doing at the moment, or just finished doing.
He's
And I say
Jesus.
Kyle, I mean Dan, who happens to be my niece's boyfriend. I think that's what it is.
Ask us.
Yeah, I know. I was trying to work it out. That doesn't make you my nephew, does it? Someone's your niece's
Not yet.
boyfriend. It's not your
Just
just
No.
niece. No,
Someone you know.
no, it's that's right. But he's just been Jesus, but in Jesus Christ
Is he?
Superstar. So that's yeah.
Not the
he's just
real
played-
Jesus. No, not the real Jesus.
He's not. Well, it is the real Jesus, isn't it? In Jesus Christ Superstar.
Well, it's a play.
It's as real as any other Jesus.
It's just a play.
Yeah.
It's just-
What do you
He
want me to
did
say?
a
As real as
great
any other
job.
white Jesus, anyway.
He was really creepy, angry,
He was
weird.
great.
Yeah,
He did a great job.
he was not an actor. I have to
Yeah,
say,
he
he's
did,
never,
really
never
did.
really.
Oh, really?
He's done. Yeah, he did a few stage things, amateur things, but that's all he's ever done. You know.
And he's
Hey,
so
Kyle,
not
if
like
you're
that. He's such
watching,
a
you
nice
did a-
guy.
He is
Sorry?
really. He's a nice guy.
Yeah.
'Cause
Oh,
I-
Nice
yeah.
guy. He is so not like that. You know, it was a really nice performance.
Did you guys know whether you guys were the murderer or not, or were you never told? Anna, answer that one first. Did you know whether Emma was the murderer? Did you have any idea?
I'll tell you what, I got the script kind of sections in before I got the final script, but no, I knew it wasn't me because that would have been a very odd kind of approach to. I mean, it would have been an interesting acting exercise to do within the remit of filming something, but that wouldn't have been. I mean, that just wouldn't have made sense because you as an actor, you need to know what your end line is or where you're finishing in
Oh,
your
okay.
story. So that wouldn't have made. It would have been, I think it would have been unfair. It would have been fun as an experiment, but it wouldn't have actually done the game any justice because the acting, we just would have gone, as a character, you need to know what you've done. So if I don't know that my character has committed anything, then how would I even express the truth behind even falsifying it? So there was that aspect. And then how did I get the gig? It's all thanks to Mr. Guilor. I keep jumping in and out of camera, but it was thanks to John. See, I do have to thank him so wholeheartedly for that because he gave me an amazing opportunity, and I'm very chuffed about that. So thank you, and
That's all right.
thanks Tim for letting John pick people. Because there you go. So you trusted John's judgment
Yeah.
and trusted your
Yeah.
own judgment
Yeah.
to then pick me. So I'm delighted.
John, how did you know
Yeah.
Rupert? How did you know Magnus? How did you know
How?
Anarosa?
Rupert, I'd met. Hey, have you heard of somebody called Ian Levine? He's into Northern Soul. You know,
Nope.
Ian Levine also claims to have discovered Take That. Does he not, Rupert? Oh, Rupert's gone now. Now that's
Rupert's gone, but we'll keep talking about him even though he's here.
just evaporated.
Didn't-
Been there all along. I ask him one question, he goes. It's just life is sometimes, isn't it? But yeah, we'd worked together on some private projects, Doctor Who projects that Ian Levine had set up. So that's where I met Rupert. Tim I knew because we'd worked on some adverts. Magnus I knew because we'd worked on have we worked on a couple of things now? No, one.
No, just Judas Goat.
Just Judas Goat, which was a web series, was it? Was it a web series?
Yep.
That's what it was.
You can find it at judasgoat.com.
Yeah, he turned in an amazing performance. So did I, but they practically cut all my bits, and I don't mean my bits. I don't mean my bits. But then they put me into a dream sequence, which made it all go. You couldn't tell who I was. It could have been a bloody cardboard cutout. It really could. And yeah, I'm really angry with them about that. But I'm angry with them about other things as well. Anyway, I'm really going along off on a tangent. Anarosa came through Rupert, but I'd also seen Anarosa's work and already met Anarosa. Kate Vine I knew. Stephen Mosley I knew from Red Ladder Theatre. I trained with Red Ladder Theatre Company in Leeds. He was in a few plays with Red Ladder Theatre Company. I did one play with Red Ladder Theatre Company called Where's Vietnam by Alice Nutter. Alice Nutter from Chumbawamba. And has that covered everybody?
I think
Paul Darrow. Paul Darrow.
Oh yeah, him, that guy.
Oh, I'm missing Ellie. Who was also at Ladder Theatre. Was also in Where's Vietnam, the stage play by Alice Nutter at the West Yorkshire Playhouse in Leeds in 2008. So I knew Ellie, and she. Well, I've always admired her skills, but she'd come on a long way since 2008, and she really blew us up.
She was the first scene we filmed, wasn't she?
Yeah,
I mean, Ellie was Lisa, and she came up and did her scene. That was the very first thing we shot in the whole thing.
So actually, I was more nervous on that day because this was the first person I'd provided, and I thought, and to be honest with you, at the back of my mind, I was going, "Please, Ellie, don't let me down."
Yeah, exactly.
And the minute she opened her mouth, I thought, if anyone's going to let anybody down, it's going to be me, because she's incredible. She was really. That sequence with Lisa Blint is one of my favourite sequences from the whole game.
And that is, remind us again, I think she's the one who's very odd, looking in the mirror in her house. Is that? Yes. Yeah, she did a really good job because she was quite freaky. When you look at the idea you had for Contradiction, the end product, are you more or less satisfied with it? Is it how close is it to the original vision, or did it go way off?
I think it's an unmitigated disaster. No, it's not. I think it's completely different. That's all I can say from what I originally thought, because I really had no idea as to what this was going to be like. I had it wasn't like I had a vision and thought, I hope I can get this as close as possible. I actually had no idea how it was going to pan out at all. I mean, it happened, it was completely, the end product. I was expecting it to look like a demo. I was expecting this to be a demo. Essentially, to me, it kind of didn't matter. I didn't really care that much if it didn't really work, if the acting was, terrible sort of thing. I thought, well, it doesn't really matter. So the fact that I ended up with something that was completely professionally acted, and the problem was that it suddenly put a huge amount of pressure on me to kind of deliver the game. Then, because I was sort of suddenly realised this is kind of the real deal now. I've got to kind of go ahead with this and make it work and do my bit now. So yeah, it took me by surprise.
I'm sure that there are fans out there who want to know why you are not taking the game to Kickstarter for a sequel 2. I'm gonna hit you with the hardest question at the end. Because Kickstarter people will throw money at you if you have a game that you already have. Exactly.
The problem with Kickstarter is it's almost as much work as writing the game. That's the problem with it. There are other means I'm kind of working on at the moment. There are people willing to invest in things, individuals, that are willing, and I'm going to go that route. Yeah, I mean, the problem with
fans are like when you have such an ardent fan base. And I keep saying that, but really, I mean, people are still talking about Contradiction. It hasn't fallen by the wayside, and I mean, gamers can be really, really sticky, for lack of a better word, when they really. I mean, there's no other game out there that gives you this experience.
What's freaky for me is that I honestly didn't think this would do any business at all. I mean, I really, in my original idea, I kind of thought this, as I keep saying, it was a demo. It was sort of something that I didn't know, it was a concept that I hadn't tried out or anything. It was a total unknown for me. So it's sort of kind of exploded in my face a little bit.
Yeah. But also, can I just say that
yes,
it requires a heck of a lot of money throwing at it, simply because Contradiction 2 would have to include multiple endings. We can't do a linear thing like we did last time. We if we did a Kickstarter campaign, what we would get is Contradiction 1 again, and everyone would say, "Ah, well,
yeah." I mean,
it has to be huge.
The way I'm thinking about the preliminary things I've got written so far for in terms of story is kind of. I mean, one of the things with Contradiction is that it was meant to be a kind of non-linear thing, the concept, and it kind of in the process of writing the story, you end up. It ended up a lot more linear than I was hoping for, sort of thing. And so the way I'm structuring this new one is that there are kind of lots of different starting points, and you can solve different stories at any time, and those pyramid up to the end. So I'm not sure necessarily there'd be different endings as such. You know what I mean? But there'd certainly be kind of
more of a sense of it being a real world.
Yeah, and I think
that's choice. Yeah,
and just things like having a budget means that you'd be able to kind of film for more than an hour, in a place, sort of thing, that kind of thing. I mean, there's a little story about when we filmed in the pub. We kind of filmed everything we could in the pub, and then people started coming in, and the landlady said, "I'm sorry, the people coming in," and John was kind of, "It's okay, don't worry, we're just doing a spot of filming," sort of thing. And we're met by these very stony faces. It turned out this was a funeral party coming in for their funeral lunch, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And I was dancing around them, trying to be turning into John Cleese and saying, "No, just stand over there. That'll be fine, right over there." And they all went and stood in the corner and stared at me like this. And then, basically, you do know this is the funeral. Just their dad, And all right.
So we have. Yeah, go ahead, Tim.
Yeah. No, it's that kind of thing. It would be nice. I mean, we literally had no time basically to do anything, and that would have been alleviated hugely by just being able to afford, to be able to sort of say to the pub, "Look, can you just close for an hour?" Even, if we'd been able to afford that, we would have been able to do it. As it was, we filmed everything we could in the morning, didn't we? And then once it came to kind of, say, lunchtime, it was all over. So I had to kind of ditch most of the scenes that I had planned in there, So it was things like that, it's that kind of stuff that we made it work, but it was so compromised on what it should have been that I don't want to do that again. I really want to do it for real next time.
I want to thank you all so much for joining me, and honestly, from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for joining me here on the Jessa Channel. And Magnus, with your badass self. I'm sorry, it's family friendly, but I had to stick that in there. You're just too good, boy. You're too good. Look at that boy. I just want to pinch him. He showed me his tats. That's awesome.
Did he really?
I was waiting on my tats.
Tats as well.
He showed me. I saw actual tattage.
Did you?
I did.
I think the rest of us have seen a lot
Look at that. And Tim Follin, thank you so much for being here, and thank you, John, for being the man, the influencer, the connector of all of us. He's just on it. And for Anna, thank you so much, Anarosa. And I apologize, I keep calling you Anna, and I will start doing like a rubber band thing. Yeah, I'm sorry.
On behalf of Rupert is saying goodbye as well.
I want to thank you all so much for joining me for this interview and for this really fun time. And if you have not yet bought Contradiction, what rock are you hanging out under? What's the matter with you? Go buy it now, please. Because it's a fantastic game. It's available on Steam. You can also buy a copy over on iTunes because it's available for your tablet. And it actually plays really well on the tablet too. So
can I just recommend
I would say the iPad version is my favorite version. It plays so beautifully. And it's so easy to use that my dad has even played it through, and he's never played a video game in his life.
And you can play it in bed under the covers.
Look at his face! Oh my god!
You can.
I'm gonna have nightmares. Oh my god!
I'm George Osborne. I'm George Osborne, the Chancellor of the Exchequer.
I'll wake up in a cold sweat, and my husband will be like, "What's the matter?" And I'll be like, "John Guilor, I can't."
That's what the matter is.
A lot of people wake up in the middle of the night screaming "John Guilor is true" in terror.
I do regularly.
Speaking of which, thank you also to Kate Vine. And and all the wonderful actors who brought Contradiction, and here's hoping for Contradiction 2. And in the best way you can bring Contradiction 2 about is to go buy Contradiction 1, share it with your friends, and enjoy it. Thank you, as always, for watching.
Thank you so much. And thank you, Jess, tonight.
Bye. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Right, bye.